Another stack show coming your way on the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. Hope all of you had a great week and you're getting set for a phenomenal matchup on Sunday as the Niners play host to the Miami Dolphins. A reminder, we will be doing a watch party for that game, so I hope you all subscribe and join us and turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. Today's show is presented by Manscaped, the leader in the best men's grooming products, running a great deal this holiday season of 20% off and free shipping only if you head to manscaped.com/49ers and enter the promo code 49ers. So coming your way on today's show, a lot of moving parts in the NFL and NFC playoff picture. We'll take a look at the upcoming 49ers playoff path, the remaining Niners schedule, but also because things are closely tied in the NFC West, the remainder of the Seahawks schedule. Then we'll start taking your questions. But as I alluded to, we'll be live Dolphins-Niners watch party right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report on Sunday. Make sure you subscribe and join us. This game did not get flexed to prime time. It will be in that late afternoon slot. Cannot wait for it. And throughout this week, we are doing a sub-battle between our Dolphins channel and here on the Niners Report. Let's beat them and take them down on the field as well as in subscribers within the walls here at Chat Sports. If you want to be informed and entertained on all things Niners every day, year-round, this is your go-to spot. San Francisco. Show up, show out. Make sure you lock us in. We are the best and biggest Niners YouTube channel out there. So let's start with this. The updated NFC playoff picture. Some moving parts here, especially with some of those wild card spots. The first couple of seeds remain the same, with the Philadelphia Eagles maintaining their lead in the NFC with that 10-1 record, a 2-game lead over the Minnesota Vikings because they own that tiebreaker. Vikings do remain in second place. San Francisco 49ers still with that stranglehold of the divisional race in the NFC West and that 3 spot at 7-4. How cool would it be if the Niners can get that 2 spot? If the Vikings crash and crater down the stretch. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did lose in overtime to the Cleveland Browns, but still in 4th at 5-6. And then this is where there were some moving parts here in the wild card race. Dallas Cowboys, 5th spot, 8-3. New York Giants, 6th place at 7-4. And with the Washington Fighting Taylor Heineke's on a roll right now, having won, 5 of 6, 6 of 7 with Heineke as the starting quarterback, that lone loss to the Minnesota Vikings a couple of weeks ago, they slide into that last spot. On the outside looking in, those fraudulent Seattle Sea Chickens at 6-5 and the Atlanta Falcons at 5-7. Now we take a look at the AFC playoff picture because, of course, the Niners have Super Bowl aspirations, and we need to see which teams they might be able to face if they do make it to the Super Bowl in Arizona. Kansas City Chiefs, I think they're the best team in the AFC, and the record, the standings certainly show that. Miami Dolphins coming to town in that 2 position in the AFC. Tennessee Titans, Philadelphia Eagles, a big game this week. Tennessee, number 3, coming off a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. And rounding things out in the AFC playoff picture, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, and the New York Jets, led by Mike White and not the Mormon MILF hunter in Zach Wilson. The NFC West standings here. Things are tricky, and in a couple of weeks, the Niners will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. That game is going to be a massive one. Niners atop this division at 7-4. Seahawks 6-5. Cardinals at 4-8, and the Rams at 3-7. Their seasons, in terms of the Cardinals and the Rams, all but over. So this is a 2-team race for the NFC West here. The remaining schedule for the Seattle Seahawks. On the road this week against the Los Angeles Rams. At home in Week 14 against the Carolina Panthers. They started Sam Darnold last week and got a win, and that could be a tricky game. Week 15, Thursday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. Week 16, on the road against the Chiefs. Difficult game there, could be an L. And if it's back-to-back L's against the Niners and the Chiefs, even better. Difficult game against the New York Jets in Week 17. Then the Seahawks round out the remaining schedule Week 18 against the Los Angeles Rams. Maybe Los Angeles will look to play the role of spoiler. The Niners' remaining schedule, 7-4 right now, 6 games remaining. Dolphins this week. Buccaneers in Week 14 to end that 3-game homestand. Week 15 on the road against Seattle on a short week, Thursday Night Football. They take on the Commanders at home. Then they're on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 17 at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And then they round out the year, Week 18 against the Arizona Cardinals. So you look at the schedule here. Difficult game against the Dolphins and Bucs, no doubt about it. A difficult game against Seattle. Winnable game against the Commanders, winnable game against the Raiders, winnable game against the Cardinals. If you get to 11, 12 wins, you're in a really good spot if you are San Francisco. So with that, if you do think that the Niners will win the divisional crown, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. It would be the first divisional championship since going back to 2019 when the Niners were the number 1 seed in the NFC, made it to the Super Bowl, and then, yeah, our hearts were ripped out when they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, today's show, like I said, is presented by Manscaped. Your questions coming up on the other side of this, but it's the holiday season, and it's never too early to play holiday music, and it's never too early to start thinking about gifts for yourself or somebody else out there. Whether it's for a friend or the friends in your pants, you can make this season to be jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drummer boy, or maybe your big drummer boy, a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products included here in the Platinum package. And with that, you'll have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about his sack. You should care about your sack as well. Look nice when you get naughty by going to Manscaped, and you'll avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Enter the promo code 49ers at manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off the most elite men's grooming products out there. So let's go team by team here. NFL playoff picture. Eagles remaining games against the Tennessee Titans are upcoming, I should say, and New York Giants, currently that number 1 seed. Minnesota Vikings do have an easy schedule, but this week's game against the New York Jets is going to be difficult considering Robert Saleh's defense is firing on all cylinders. Then week 14 on the road against those pesky Detroit Lions. Had a nice bounce-back win. Certainly this past weekend did Minnesota. Niners, we just went through their remaining schedule. Dolphins, Bucs coming up, currently on that 4-game winning streak. Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints, who always cause Tom Brady a lot of problems. Then they come to Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Tom Brady returning home to NorCal. Dallas Cowboys, easy couple of games coming up, so they could go up in the playoff standings if the Eagles falter. Colts, Texans coming up in week 13 as well as week 14. Great Thanksgiving Day win over the New York Giants. To those Giants. Commanders, Eagles coming up. Wan'Dale Robinson out for the season with the torn ACL as New York continues to get burned by the injury bug, especially at that wide receiver position. So that's really the outlook right now in the NFC. And like I said, the 49ers really do control their own destiny here. And with what we've seen offensively and defensively for the Niners, I think they're the most complete team in the NFC. And frankly, I don't really think it's close. Offensively, defensively, running the football, passing the football, going up against the run defensively, going up against the pass, and just having premier players at basically every position group puts them in a position. If Jimmy Garoppolo plays solid football, that's all that we're asking, solid football, to get on that quest for another Super Bowl. All right, let's start taking your questions and your super chats here. Gospel artist, let's go Niners. Always. Let's go Niners. Tisha Edmonds next up with the $2 super chat. Do you think the Niners will sign a running back? Interesting stuff there, Tisha. Darrell Henderson is still out there as of this recording during our Tuesday live show. Melvin Gordon is not. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. I think this week you're going to see the Niners go in-house here. Christian McCaffrey, if he's able to play with that knee irritation. A lot of carries for Jordan Mason, 5 carries, 25 yards against the Saints. I thought that he looked really, really good. Runs with physicality and that brute force. Ty Davis-Price, hopefully we'll be able to see something from him. And then Tevin Coleman is still on the practice squad. Christopher tuned in from Puerto Rico. Big Niner fan all the way from Puerto Rico. Should they give carries to Davis and Mason, 40 snaps split, just like that last year Monday night game against the Rams? Bang, bang, F the Fins, no doubt about it. It's F the Fins all throughout this week. Type it into the comment section. Yeah, obviously, if Christian McCaffrey is good to go, he's going to play. Christian McCaffrey will be the lead back. If he cannot go, though, I think Jordan Mason is next up, then Ty Davis-Price after that. Lucis, Jenkins might be a little old, but his ball reading and ball hawking skills are insane. I hope he can show some of that former 2016 All-Pro shine, or at least teach our corner some new things. And Janoris Jenkins, he's put together a pretty impressive resume throughout his NFL career, and he has played a lot. You're right about that. 142 games, 8 touchdowns. So going back to that comment that you made, 8 touchdowns goes to show you he's a big play threat from that cornerback spot. 27 interceptions, pretty impressive for 142 games. So too, 124 pass breakups in 142 career games. So practice squad right now for Janoris Jenkins, but maybe he'll get elevated to the active roster if an injury does happen in that defensive secondary for the Niners. And if that happens, like, he's a better veteran to bring in as compared to the options last year in Josh Norman and Dre Kirkpatrick. Joke. GM Evan, what's good, brother? 49ers should try out Will Fuller or Antonio Brown. Will Fuller is basically retired at this point. He has suffered way too many injuries, and I don't really think that the Niners need to bring in another wide receiver. Antonio Brown is so scrambled in between the ears. I'm not sure what this dude is thinking, although that song is pretty good. Put that shit on. Put that shit on. That's the only thing that he's done well over the last year and change. Had it all set up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Teams up with Tom Brady. Wins the Super Bowl, and then he just goes erratic and turns into Kanye West overnight. Void. Let Jimmy leave and trade up with the Texans for the number 1 pick for Trey Lance and take Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. If you let Jimmy leave and you trade up with the Texans for the number 1 pick, Texans aren't doing that, nor do you have the draft capital to give up in order to move to number 1, because Trey Lance ain't going to get that trade done. Trey Lance doesn't have a lot of trade value right now. Now, I do think that Trey Lance going into this offseason does have some sneaky trade value, but I do not anticipate that a trade is going to take place here. Interesting stuff nonetheless, though, from all of our subscribers. All right, it's a real one roll call. If you tune into the Niners Report, if you subscribe to the show, if you tune into everything that we do and you're about that life and you support the channel, then you are a real one. And if you are a real one, type real one in the chat. As always, we appreciate all of you for tuning in.